Alright, I'm at 2215 South Linda Drive in Bellbrook, Ohio. We're doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that would be concerning to the buyer. As you can see, the access point here is the stack on the roof. There should be an outside clean out somewhere, but I'm unable to locate it. I went around with a metal detector, could not find it. It should be cast iron, but I was unable to find it. So we're going through the roof vent, which should give us access. It should go down through the floor. Looks like this is the shared stack in between the two toilets. And so what it should do is go down. Once it gets through the floor, it should turn and go straight out, either the front or the rear. And so hopefully we have a pretty straight shot here. This is cast iron. It looks like I am going into PVC. And maybe that's why I couldn't find it. The cast iron is a pretty short distance. And so either this is PVC or it is lined. Looks like PVC. Based off the age of the house, I was fully expecting cast iron on the inside and clay on the outside. Just to note, this camera lens is maybe a ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe. It's not much, so that's not a concerning amount of water. Hopefully, you can see it's worse when you're pushing through it because it kind of pushes all the stuff up in front of the camera there. So I was hoping to be able to find an outside clean out. Hopefully we'll be able to rinse it off a little bit. I'm going to pull back a little bit and get into that water and see if I can rinse that little chunk of something off there so the view isn't obscured at all. I know there was some water right around in here. I'll go out and run some water. I'll go down and run some water in the house. But so far, the line is looking really, really good. I believe this goes out the front, and we have some you can see the manhole in the middle of the road out there, so I believe it goes out the front, but we also have some rear electric and other utilities, and so that may be that the sewer main in the front may go to the houses across the street. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go down. We're going to run some water in the house and try to help push the camera through a little bit, and also it would help to rinse the camera lens off. It's very common to be able to be pushing out, pushed up in front of the camera, kind of plows through it, and then it usually allows us to see a lot better on the way back. Though we'll be able to either rinse off in the main itself, or we'll just run some water. And in this case, hopefully running the water will rinse it off, and we'll be able to see it on the way out, the rest of the way out and on the way in. Okay, so we all run some water, also flush the toilet. So hopefully that will give us enough water to help push the camera out and also to rinse it off. So and what we'll do is, if we need to, we'll go ahead and we'll turn that water off once we get out into the main and we're sure that we can see. The bad part about doing all this is, or from the roof, is that it's a little bit harder to see with all the sunlight. So this is definitely helping. Okay, got a little bit more. Looks like we're coming right into the main here. I'm not sure if I'm moving or not. Doesn't look like it, does it? Yep. Okay, well, I'm going to have to pause the video and see where I am, because this is not making any sense as far as if I dropped into the main, it was really hard to see. And for some reason it's catching right here and there's no reason for it. There's nothing for it to be catching on, but for some reason it's getting caught in the same spot every time and there's nothing in my way. So we're gonna have to pause the video, get a locate, and make sure that we're at least off the property, and see if we can figure out where we're at as far as the front or the rear and where the line is. So I'm going to pause the video so we can get a locate. Okay, well, we're in the front yard. The problem is, this is a converted septic. So this line goes out the rear. And then once it goes out the rear, it turns around and goes all the way around the house. And so I ran some more water to see if that would help. I feel like I'm moving, just not as much as I'd like. We want to make sure we can hopefully at least get off the property and see if we can find a clean out or something here. So we're getting really close to the property line here. The most frustrating part is really that there's that little piece of goo on there, and we would hope that we could get far enough out where we could see everything. But due to the fact that it's PVC, I'm having a little bit of issue. Couldn't find the clean out. And so we are moving. So far everything looks great, but we're having trouble seeing because of the stupid one little bit. And it will not rinse anything off the front of this camera, and I'm not understanding why. Got a little bit of grease or something on the front. So what we may end up having to do is pull this all the way back and try again and hope that nothing gets on the front of the camera again, but I don't understand how the water's not rinsing this thing off. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to pull back. Maybe if I keep messing this around a little bit, it'll help. I think I'm going to try to push out, and then maybe if I turn the water off, there won't be as much reflection on the light. I think that that's one of the bigger issues. Being that I'm at 135 feet, I think I've got to be getting close to No, this is really just me making a bunch of noise on here. Really not much to explain. Everything looks really good. I mean, we're not seeing it as clear as I would like as far as, but it's obvious that there's no big issues with the line. There's no root intrusion. And there we are. We've actually made it all the way to the main. So I'm going to let this sit here for a minute because we made it all the way to the main, which is great news. There we go. And now all of a sudden we have a very clean look at this. There we go. That's what we were looking for. So I saw nothing that was of any issue at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video one more time. We're going to pull back. I'm going to have to shut the water off so that it doesn't obscure any of the lighting or the video on the way back. Alright, so we're going to begin pulling back now. We can take another look at all this. But the line looked really good on the way out, so that's what we want. Clay. She got out to where they put the sewer main in. They ran clay up onto the property. You can see some of this stuff. Looks like basically that white stuff is just old grease. It's been washed down and just kind of sticks to the side of the pipe. No concern or anything. No big areas of concern, but that's probably what was on the front of my camera. A lot of it happens with, yes, some people do tend to dump grease down their line, but most of the time it's accidental as far as washing dishes, and then liquid fabric softener is also full of those things. It kind of looks like it's oily and greasy, and that stuff can all congeal and build up together, but this all looks really good. Here we are back into the PVC. And so what this was originally this was a, and see there was a clean out. Originally this was on a septic system in the rear of the house. And when they came and they installed a sewer main down the road, they hooked on in the back of the house where it used to tie into the septic tank, and they ran it all the way around the house. And so I'm sure there are clean outs back here. And so the one that was out by the road we saw, that's where they make the connection. A lot of times those are not uncovered as it is. They tend to not bring them all the way to the surface. And so what we'll try to do is, if we can find one back near the house where the transition between the cast iron and the PVC happens, then we'll see if we can mark that. But this line looks very good. It's a good thing when this was replaced, or I should say when this line was added out to the main, that it was late enough to where they added PVC. So it would most likely have been in the 80s based off of what the interior of the PVC looks like, maybe late 70s. It's a really good sign for all of this, because normally on houses this age and they have clay lines, it's usually some form of root intrusion. It's a very, very common thing, and this looked really, really good. I didn't find anything of any concern. Again, no root intrusion, which is great, but that helps that there's no trees in the front yard, and as long as you don't add them, it should be good. chunks of hair and stuff in the line. I'm hoping we can see coming through here, because I think we're coming back around the end of the house. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the reason why I couldn't find a clean out with my metal detector is because this is all PVC. There's a double turn where it comes around, and we are in the cast iron. So that's where they connected to the cast iron coming out of the back of the house and wrapped it around. Looks like that's where they would have added in that laundry room over there, but I didn't see any access to any cleanouts. Normally they would, so I don't know if I just missed it. But we are now vertical back in the stack. Looks like, and even the cast iron looked really good. I didn't see any issues. Anything of any concern, no defects, everything looked great. So I do wish I would have seen a clean out, but it may have been where it left. It could be underneath what looks like to be an addition on the back of the house, and that would have been where that may have been, and they used that to connect that laundry room there. It might have been in a different area. But at any rate, the line looked wonderful. I didn't see any defects whatsoever. Everything was, all the connections were nice and tight. There was no root intrusion, no offsets, no low spots. I mean, everything looked really, really good. So, especially with a line of that length and that layout, that line was great. Nothing to really report, thankfully. And so that'll end the inspection at 2215 South Linda Drive in Bellbrook, Ohio.